That took a lot longer to go live than I thought it would. Hello, welcome to Dungeons and Discords. Jumping right in, just a very, very brief recap. The group has just had their first night's rest in a comfortable environment for quite some time. Although comfortable, I suppose, being a matter of perspective. They did just rid the town of the Fortemps Villa of a deadly creature known as a false hydra that, as it turns out, as the group discovered upon slaying it, had more or less killed or consumed very close to 2/3 of the population of the Fortemps Villa. So they've got that to deal with. The group has Larassa and her brother Gar in tow, both of whom were seeking refuge from an individual known as Merrick, who was chasing after Larassa for reasons unknown, although the magic book probably has something to do with it. You guys, at present, have no incredibly pressing, how do I phrase this, immediate quests, I suppose?
Shopping.
Although you do have a somewhat good list of potential things that you could be doing. So, as dawn breaks on the morning after, what would you like to do?
I would like to go and fetch my chicken nuggets, so someone else go first.
Alright, Zook, you go downstairs in the inn, which also has chicken nuggets in the game in addition to real life. Actually, no, you're in the estate. You're not in an inn.
Yeah, the estate would have chicken tendies.
Yes,
So an upgrade for
the superior version of ground chicken, of fried ground chicken.
Fuck, I'm not sure what I want to do, considering all that just happened last session.
Yes,
Oh.
that's right. Rurik just had a very interesting encounter with his god and changed domains. Which I'm very glad that Tasha's Cauldron gave us an actual framework to do that in. Thank you, Tasha.
They weren't done yet, so the nuggets weren't done yet, so I'm gonna wait until a more opportune moment.
So Zook comes back upstairs from the tavern.
Yes, Zook comes
That's
back
not what I was doing.
back upstairs from the servants' quarters, empty-handed and disappointed. There's, I believe, Prudence, you'd be going through your morning ritual. Yep. That's right, and you're working to decode the spellbook that you acquired. I believe you got it from the secret ingredient, the alchemy shop, that was formerly on fire, right?
Nobody likes my jokes.
That's right. Yes, there was the name The Artisan, and that's it. That's all the information you knew. But it did have the sigil of your school of 10 Sentinel on it. Your alma mater.
Alma mater.
Alma mater. Like tomato without the t.
Oh my god, I hate it.
You're welcome. Let's see. So you're looking to decode it and copy it into your spellbook? Prudence? Okay, I believe, I'm going to try and do this from memory without looking it up. It's 50 gold and 2 hours per level? Or is it... Oh no, but that's right, because it's a divination spell, the cost is significantly lower. Because you're a divination wizard. Okay. If you want to, you can, through your connections with Shigun, you can probably find the materials easily enough. It's to do what you want, and you have a space to work in if you so desire. But it will, as you mentioned, it will take 5 hours for you to copy everything that you're looking for into your spellbook. Alright, so Prudence approaches Shigun once he's done with his morning ritual and requests materials and a space to work in. Now, Shigun, you know there's a study of sorts.
Yeah.
Along one hallway. It's not, dedicated to magical study, but it is a quiet space with a desk and parchment and so on.
Yeah. Whatever he needs, he's free to use.
And also, as a result of your relationship with Shigun, Shigun, you don't know where this stuff is because it's not really your, forte. But you ask around, and you are able to find the materials that he needs. Most of which comes from Elijabel at X Marks the Spot, who is severely traumatized.
Who isn't?
But she does give you the materials that you needed for free, because you kind of did just save the town. So it's the least it's the least I can do. She says, stammers, kind of not quite making eye contact.
I will jot down in my notes that this is probably not a JRPG.
Yeah, she's not calling anyone Baka.
No, but if it was a JRPG, then they'd still charge for the shop.
Are there any?
That's fair.
Is the shop still intact, sort of?
Mostly. I mean, the building itself was fine. There was some damage to the walls, and both windows were blown out. But everything that you saw there was there, just a bit messier.
And is the shopkeep gone?
You're talking about Elijabel?
Yeah.
No, she's still there. She's,
Are we talking to her?
as far as I'm aware, you would have had to get stuff from her.
Okay, I thought it was a blown-out magic shop that we were going through.
Well, you were looting, for lack of a better word, the secret ingredient. That was the alchemy shop that across the way.
Okay.
That had the giant hole in front of it.
Yep.
Didn't that burn down or something?
So it's
a little hole in it.
Its storage space next door burned down. The store
okay.
itself was damaged, but also abandoned. So there wasn't a whole lot intact there, but you were able to find a couple things. You found a couple, if I recall, you found a couple potions, a couple books. I believe you got a scroll.
Ooh.
I don't remember off the top of my head though. So.
I have something I would like to do during the morning time.
Okay.
Sure.
I would like to spend some time going through whatever the heck it was that Hoyd put in my bag without my knowledge, and go through the ingredients that we stored in Prudence's bag of holding, assuming he's okay with me going through that.
Yeah, because you just shoveled a bunch of stuff into the bag.
Yes.
That's true.
It was from that ingredient crate or something.
Yeah, it was basically just a crate of miscellaneous spell components and potion ingredients.
Yeah, I'd like to take the time to familiarize myself with that and take stock of what it is I have, as well as taking
what I looted for you.
That book of potion recipes and familiarize myself with that.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and make a. Goodness, I'm suddenly blanking on what the different skills are in Dungeons and Dragons because I'm an idiot. Go ahead and make a medicine check. That's probably make a. Probably medicine. Medicine's probably the closest we're gonna get to what I mean. Herbalism isn't exactly a skill in 5th edition, so.
Keyboard's big wonky.
And what was it that Hoyd put in your bag?
I don't know.
Hoyd, what was it that you put in?
I looted everything and put it in his bag.
He loaded stuff and just threw it in my bag.
Oh, it was the
I don't
potions.
I don't know
and
what it
such.
was. Yeah, just grab the shelves and throw it in a bag.
I believe you already identified the 2 potions that you found. There was the potion of clarity and the potion of deafness.
Also blindness.
Of blindness, deafness, right?
Yeah, there were 3 of those. So is that just the stuff that Hoy put in my bag?
Oh no, I put a whole bunch of random crap in there too.
Oh well, yeah, along with a giant pile of, you know.
My notes currently include those 3 potions, 3 generic potion ingredients, and then a note for some unknown amount of ingredients of unknown efficacy to be determined later, which is what I assumed came from the crate.
Probably broken glass. Have fun.
Probably broken. Thank you.
Well, the nice thing about shards of broken glass is that they don't really tend to penetrate armor very well. Although you're probably not wearing your armor right now that I think about it, so. So your medicine check was?
28.
28? Good lord.
I rolled a 19.
So you're able to dig through, in addition to the 3, essentially, potions worth of base ingredients that you have, not including any specific ingredients that might be needed for a given potion. There are, you estimate, at least 2 more, just base, almost like, you could consider it potion broth, if you will, just like the base stock material for making a potion, and then you add specific ingredients to make specific potions. You do have the materials necessary to brew a number of potions at this point, particularly with the book that you found. So, more or less, we can just... Sorry?
If nothing is like immediately pressing our attention at this moment, I might take some time to work on making some potions. If we're not doing anything immediate.
I'd say it would probably take you about maybe 2 hours to sort through everything, with a 28 anyway.
What if he had help?
I mean, you can assist him and cut that time down to be about an hour.
Okay.
Are you proficient with an herbalism kit?
I'm a bard, but no.
He's referring to Jack of all trades. Which is a feature that in this case would actually help. So yeah, I'd say you can cut down the time to about an hour by sorting through stuff. And then if you want to spend a couple hours brewing a potion, it will take about, in your estimate, about 6 hours to just get everything ready, and then to finalize brewing everything, and then it will be another day to brew 1 potion.
Assuming we're in the shop of knickknacks,
I think we're in the estate at the moment.
Well, you guys don't have to be together, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go wherever.
What is the oddest thing for sale?
Oh, yeah.
What is the oddest thing for sale? In X marks the spot?
Yeah.
Make an investigation check as you're just looking around.
One second. Forgot to open my character sheet.
Yeah, you probably need that.
27.
27. Okay. The strangest thing... I'm just trying to think what would be strange for you, being a gnome. I would say... Well, let me roll a d100 and see.
Oh boy. Random treasure generation.
So there's 2 things that you find. One is a... Actually, this would be... Yeah, there's 2 things you find. So you find a dark blue sort of square of what appears to be some kind of a rubber material. And Ellie Jabel says, "Oh yes, you can use that to erase anything from anything, as long as it's not magical. But here, look." She takes
clean magic eraser.
She takes a bit of ink out of an inkwell and sort of just splashes it on the wall. And then she runs this. It's about maybe 4 inches across. This little square of rubbery material over it, and it just vanishes. And the other thing that you find is a solid gold lockpick. Ellie Jabel kind of handles it a little bit and gives you a once over and says, I feel like this would be something that you would enjoy, just to have around. It's a bit flashier than your usual lockpick, I feel. The eraser will run about 25 gold. The lockpick is 30 gold. Crickets.
He wants to buy both.
Oh, I would like to purchase both. Sorry, I didn't see that there. Okay, so you go ahead and you proceed with the transaction. You give her 55 gold, and she in turn gives you these 2 slightly magical trinkets. And so you can go ahead and note solid gold lockpick, and fuck it, it's called the magic eraser now, and magic eraser.
Excellent.
That's the best name.
You get to decide whether
Implement.
you get to decide whether the specter of a bald white man appears above you while you use it. But only you can see. They cross their arms and nod approvingly. Alright, Prudence, I have a thing that I need to come back to because you did a whole thing. Let's see. So you, as you're working in the room, you shutter the windows, close the door, and very carefully place your implements, inks, charts, etc. that you need. And as you're working, Deer, still not entirely used to her new form. She's still got a little crow instinct in her, or raven instinct, excuse me. She goes and accidentally knocks it on the floor, and it hits the ground and kind of spills a bit. Just a teeny bit, not enough to like affect your work, but. And Prudence, you kind of look at her with a bit of disappointment, and an expression that most of you have not seen before, the sort of soft, like, oh you kind of look. And you say to her, "Dear, how about you go help Zook do whatever it is that he does?" And she kind of ruffles her feathers a bit and does that like half meow chirp that she does, and just slinks off. Pause at the door a little because you close the door. So you let her out, and she goes and she finds Zook. This would be right at about the time Zook is concluding his transaction and leaving X marks the spot. Let's see. Rurik, you're busy with potions. Shigun and Hoyd, what are you folks doing?
I'm actually typing up the thing right now.
I am helping Rurik with his potions.
That's right. You're helping Rurik. Shigun?
Mm-hmm.
You doing anything?
Now that I'm awake, is my father awake right now? I'm assuming he probably is.
Yeah. Yeah, you do know that he wakes earlier than you, typically.
Okay.
And you go and you find him in what you have in the past pejoratively called the war room, just, you know, his little room of all the charts and maps of the villa and the surrounding area. He's not a warlike individual, but as a child, that's just what you referred to it as.
Yeah.
And he's just sort of, you see him looking at a very large, almost blueprint of the villa on the wall, with just his fist up to his chin. And he glances your way a little bit as you enter, but his back is to you, so he doesn't turn all the way around.
How are you faring today, Father?
There's a moment where you can see his mouth is working a little, and he's struggling to come up with words. We've been better.
Yeah.
You can see he has a quill in his hand, and he's marking off the various different homes of people who were taken.
Were all the survivors relocated last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
You and your friends were very helpful in accommodating us. We managed to get everyone to their appropriate, to an appropriate, mostly intact home. Some are refusing to leave the mostly piles of rubble, but that is their choice. And he marks off another one.
It's very likely that we may be staying here for a couple of days while we, get our own bearings as well. So if there's anything else we can do to assist, we'd be more than happy to, obviously.
He sighs and puts the quill back into the inkwell and turns, and with an expression on his face you haven't seen in a very long time. The last time you would have seen this was when you left, actually. You see his jaw's kind of set and he's trying to hide it, but you know your father, and he has this sort of almost 1,000-yard stare look of utter loss and confusion. And you've never known your father to be one to be unsure or confused, but he's so far out of his depth at this moment. And he says, Hazendel's been in contact. He's told us that we will be receiving some aid, whatever they can spare, given their own troubles.
That's good news.
They should be here in about a week or so, maybe 2.
Okay. Ooh.
He shakes his head a little. How could we let this have happened?
I don't know. I wish I had words. I'm just as stunned as you are.
He starts to pace the room slightly, and when he gets near to you, he kind of he goes to walk past you, but stops and puts a hand on the shoulder closest to him, and he says, "These are your people, just as much as they are mine."
I know.
I don't know what's more important right now. The enemies within or the enemies without. I can't help but wonder Did this thing come after us for a reason? Or was it simply bad luck? Fate? He shakes his head. I should not be troubling you with these things. You're many years off from taking my place, I hope.
Even if that is the case, I'm still here to assist in whatever way you need me to. As you say, these are my people as well.
A small, very faint smile cracks. Good. I believe Honoroy was looking for you. Said something about neglect in his duties. You should be able to find him. He should be in the North Ward, I believe.
I'll go seek him out then. I'm not surprised he'd say something like that, considering how long I've been gone. I know how much the boy looks up to me, and I can't help but feel a little guilty myself for basically pushing him off to the side.
He's he's received as best an education as we can provide. But he doesn't want to follow my footsteps. He wants to follow in yours. So.
Right.
One NPC to the party.
I'll go seek him out then. And if you need me elsewhere, or if you need the help of any of my traveling compatriots, just ask.
I plan to. Thank you. You will be very welcoming. You'll be very welcome. Your aid will be welcome in the next couple of days. And he gives you a nod as you leave, and he returns to the map on the wall. Cutting away over to Rurik. So you you just do a quick check. There are a couple of people that do need aid, but most of them at this point are stable, and the few people that need your aid are like only just beyond the skill of the healers in this villa, the ones that remain anyway. So you help them a little bit, and you retrieve your potion supplies from the cart and set up a workstation in the estate, so out of the way the others. There is you work with Shigun, and you find it's a kitchen. You basically find a kitchen. There's one of two in the estate, and you clear out all the food from the space, and you use the rune chalk to draw a circle around the stool you'll be sitting on. Now, remind me which rune chalk that is. Is it the alabaster white?
Yes.
So you are.
Its effect would basically be a 1d4 bonus to any ability check. So basically, just a little bit of extra.
That's right. It's essentially
check necessary for.
It's essentially guidance that you get out
Yes,
of it.
It's guidance in a physical form.
Okay. You set to work preparing baskets of ingredients, using the book as a guide to fill the knowledge gaps and begin brewing a potion of greater healing. Okay, so a potion of greater healing will take a little over a day and a half. A regular potion of healing would take about a day.
Okay.
But a potion of greater healing is a bit more. With the book, you do have significant... a lot of the time's cut down, because you no longer have to experiment and figure it out. Go ahead and make a it's a chemistry set, a chemistry kit, I think.
I have
the set of tools I gave you.
I have I can't remember if you gave me something specific, but I have noted pharmacist's tools, herbalism kit, and brewer's supplies. Which I guess if you combined all three of those, it would be like that.
It would actually be all three in this case, brewing a potion. Go ahead and make an intelligence check and add your proficiency bonus as you're using these tools.
What about Hoyd's help?
Hoyd,
How would Hoyd's help affect that?
I would say... So, Hoyd, are you proficient in any of those three things? Pharmacist tools, herbalism kit, or brewer's tools?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. There's another way that you can help.
Bardic Inspiration.
You can provide inspiration.
Mhm.
And Rurik, you get the D4 from the rune chalk as well.
Yeah.
So get your D8 from me.
Yep, so it's D20 plus proficiency plus D4 plus D8.
Is there a way to do plus a roll, or do you have to do rolls separately?
No, you can add rolls together, so you can do like question mark 1d20 plus... Yeah, you got it.
Oh. That's cool. I didn't know you could do it that way.
But yeah, you can add... rolls can stack, and also you're adding your proficiency bonus, which I think is plus 4 now? Or is it still plus 3? Yeah, it's plus 4. Okay. So go ahead and make that roll.
D4.
You rolled a 1 on the d20.
I rolled a 1 on the D20, so
No.
thanks for...
Wait, 1, 3, 15.
That's a 1 on the D8, a 3 on the D4.
Why does it print
Why
reverse
is it
like
in that
that?
order?
I don't know.
I don't
That's
know.
weird. Anyway, so you get a 24 is the short version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's really weird.
So
Oh,
you get a
okay, I guess
24.
that makes sense.
And yeah, so you're able to complete everything and it stabilizes. You won't have to tend it overnight, but it does just need time to brew.
Okay.
That will take you about, with Hoyd's help, will take you about 4 or 5 hours, something along those lines, just to get all the pieces in. You're basically you're cooking the world's most expensive cake. Not the most expensive. It's probably the most expensive thing that you've made personally, but okay.
And one last question before you get to other stuff. What would this consume out of my ingredients? I'm assuming this would consume one or both of my remaining blue cap mushrooms and like some number of ingredients as well.
That's right. You're using the blue caps. So in this case, I forgot you had the blue caps. Using the blue cap, it takes the same amount of time as the next one down. So it only takes a day to brew this instead of a day and a half because of the blue cap. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding me.
Wait.
Potion ingredients. So basically you expend one of the generic ingredients, one of the blue caps, and yeah, that's pretty much all you would need. There are other ingredients here and there, but basically, when I say like 5 sets of potion ingredients, I don't mean 5 sets of the same thing. I mean there's enough in there to make 5 different types of potions just mixed together.
Gotcha.
So there are the appropriate ingredients in there. But now you know you probably won't be able to make another potion of healing with this collection of stuff you have. But there are other potions you may be able to make.
That's fine. I just wanted to get +1 greater healing again because I was out.
Okay. So, as you're doing this, I'll say, who wants to be the one that bothers Prudence first? I assume
Oh,
Hoyd.
I'm going to find Honorite, so Hoyd can do that. He's volunteered.
Alright.
Hoyd's a helper.
Very.
I am.
Hoyd, how do you bother Prudence?
So as I see the door closed, and I'm going to cast message to Prudence
Ha! Through the door?
through the door.
Oh no.
Okay.
Housekeeping.
roll a d4. On a 1 through 3, on a 1 and 2 you hit it. On a 3 and 4 you don't. So, unfortunately, you pinged your message in just the wrong direction,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't. You send out your message and you wait and you listen and no response.
I will crack the door open and peek inside.
Okay, so you go and you crack the door open, ignoring the do not disturb sign. You do a DW and just say, that sign can't stop me because I can't read. And when you peek your head inside, you see Prudence is typing. So once he finishes with the description.
He's born with a typewriter and he's physically typing.
Yeah.
The heck is that and where'd you get it?
Yeah.
Of the future.
Yeah, this mechanical technology only exists in one place in this world right now, and you guys aren't at it.
That housekeeping bit friggin' destroyed me. Oh, that was so great.
Alright. So yeah, Prudence, you don't see him often with his robes off. But his robes are off, and you can see his undershirt has been sort of tied off to one side and tightened to avoid getting stained with ink. You see that little necklace that he had before, the Isosahedron, I believe. And the little prism that he's got, and you can see he's frustrated as he's working through the arcane formulas of a different wizard, because they all have their own sort of pseudo language. And he looks up and says, "What is it?"
I will step inside and quietly close the door.
Oh my god.
Okay, he's still looking up at you.
Bard attempts to seduce the wizard.
No. No.
I finished helping with the chemist. I figured you would use some help as well.
So Prudence,
Don't worry, I'm not here to steal your secrets.
At this point, you would have been working for about 4 or 5 hours.
Control.
And Prudence turns back and says, "You will help me best by holding your breath and not letting go."
Oh damn.
Of note, you did feel that sort of like wind getting knocked out of you sensation this morning of water breathing being cast on you.
I will do exactly that.
Oh no.
You'll hold your breath?
I will hold my breath and I'll read over his shoulder.
Okay. What's your constitution bonus?
Time to put this diamond to use.
It's +3.
+3?
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, you can hold your breath for. Actually, it's equal to your constitution bonus or your constitution score.
I have 16.
You can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to your constitution score?
No.
Constitution.
No.
It's I forget off the top of my head, but swimming, climbing, and crawling.
It's like a minimum, and then your mod modifies it, I think.
I forget what the rules are off the top of my head. I'm sure it's in the player's handbook somewhere. But that being said, you will be able to hold your breath for 3 straight minutes, which is kind of surprising, but it is what it is. And you're leaning over. You're leaning over Prudence's shoulder, and every so often he kind of like annoyed like flicks a bit of ink your way, but your outfit's already black, so it doesn't really stain that much. As sort of like a not like deliberately trying to get you dirty, but as sort of a like back off kind of move, but you ignore him because you just that's who you are.
That's who I am.
You sort of do a little bit of a flourish as you finish the copying into your spellbook. It says, Rary's telepathic bond. It's a brilliant little thing I never would have thought of. It lets you speak with your allies using only your mind. And he looks up at you and on mind and kind of gives you a bit of a sarcastic,
fascinating.
sort of keen look.
Am I able to study this as well?
Is it near your class list? I don't know.
It is. I almost actually picked it.
Every time I see the name Rarity, I think of Rarity.
Yes, Rarity's telepathic bond. Oh god, so many fanfiction.
You're right.
Prudence says, I should hope not, but I can cast it for you anytime you like. I'll settle on an accent for you eventually. It's only been a year.
Man, the little bit about putting his clothes back on with that line out of context is really great.
No! No!
No context, it's amazing!
Hoyd, you ask him how the spell functions? So Hoyd asks, how does the spell function?
There.
Princess, I'll explain later. I need to use my other new spell to see if I can help repair any of the walls of the settlement. Do you know where Shigun's father is? You got a bit of a drawl now, I guess, because I've decided that you do.
It might be a bit before Hoyd is able to reply.
Yeah, Hoyd went to put his kid to
In
bed.
this instance, Hoyd would, unfortunately, not know where Edmont is. I know Shigun knows where Edmont is, obviously, but you guys haven't exactly explored the home, and Shigun is off finding Honoroi. No problem. You'll explore the home. Okay. You want to make
You find treasure chests and you loot family heirlooms.
I mean...
What? No, let's not give them the ideas.
You find the treasure vault.
I mean... That's a thing that exists in this house.
I'd be upset. We'd have to be pretty fucking mean to try to pilfer family heirlooms from you while you're in our party.
Like a year from now, Hoyd shifts his tunic the wrong way, and you see a little necklace fall out that looks suspiciously familiar. No, Prudence, go ahead and roll investigation. You're looking specifically for Edmont, but we'll see what else you find along the way.
While Prudence is typing, I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is there any point at which the potion brewing process that I'm able to leave the potion alone and go do something else, or does it require my full attention 100% of the time?
So the first 4 or 5 hours is pretty active, but after that, it's more or less just a brew process.
Oh, cool! I can roam the house at lunchtime.
By the way, Hoyd, you've used one of your inspiration dice on Prudence.
That works.
Yeah, I mean, after the first 4 or 5 hours, and then when Hoyd leaves you, you'll be able to... It basically just has to simmer, and then you check up on it again in the morning, and then it just simmers for another 12 hours, and then it's done. You don't have to actively...
If I do leave that post, I'll write a note next to it that leaves a message please don't disturb.
Do not taste.
Do not drink.
Dead dove, do not eat. Okay, So Prudence, you use your 15 portent plus 4 from your intelligence, plus the D8 inspiration, which you rolled a 4 on, so you get a 23. Edmont, the house is laid out pretty intuitively. You have the bedrooms off in one wing, your study is off, just off to one side, and then the kitchen that Rurik is in is further down that same hallway. You go upstairs. Yes, it is your study now, really. You head upstairs, and there's the family bedrooms are in there, and there's sort of like a large meeting, almost like a meeting room, like a drawing room of sorts. And next to that is the what Shigun would call the war room. It's the sort of like planning and map room of sorts. And you find Honoroi. The door's not locked. It is closed, but it's not locked.
Damn it, Prudence, I was typing that.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
So that means it's good for absolutely nothing?
That's a quote from a movie.
No, he's quoting a song now.
I cannot spell his name.
Actually, that is the correct spelling. You just need to add a T to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, T is silent.
Silent letters are stupid in any language.
Because he's friend. Yes.
Okay,
Blame
so
Final Fantasy 14.
So you go up to Edmont's sort of workspace. I assume you open the door and enter. Okay, so as you enter, you can see Edmont is sort of bent down over the desk, and he's sketching out a couple of different potential layouts for basically the rebuilding. There's like whole sections of the town have been reduced to rubble, so he's sketching out just his various ideas for planning what might go in there, or who owns that specific piece of property and so on. He glances up as you enter and he says, one of Shigun's friends, Prudence, was it? His voice is actually a little deeper, I forgot about that. Prudence, was it? Prudence, he said, I've come to help Lord Edmont. You are a lord, are you? And you see Edmont kind of cracks a little smile. He says, technically I'm a count, but my region is small. Lord will do.
Damn it, boy. How many heads are on the Hydra? 1,
2, 4, 8, Because it's the goddamn Hydra. Not the false Hydra, fortunately. That fight would have never ended. Christ. I don't think
that's not how false Hydras operate.
Other than Fireball and Firebolt, I don't think you guys had anything else that dealt fire damage, so...
I got tons of stuff that deals fire damage now.
You do now, yeah. Prudence
Now?
says, my name is Prudence. My name Prudence. No, my name is Prudence. I have a spell that creates a permanent stone wall, and I have come to you for suggestions on where to cast it. I can only cast it once a day. Now, remind me, wall of stone. I think you can shape it, right? It doesn't have to be a straight wall.
It can be shaped to the caster's will.
Yeah, you can. So you basically can build foundations with it, which is super helpful.
It is super cool.
And Edmont actually gestures down at the papers that he's working on. He says, "Well, I have a number of potential projects that we can work on. There's a number of buildings that have been abandoned, but if we perhaps could replace them with something better, that would be very helpful." Princess, would you rather I work on the biggest or the most important one? And Edmond thinks for a moment, and he says, "Not many would understand the distinction. I see my son has good taste in allies." What is the size limit of the wall of stone? If it's like 1 foot thick, it can be what, 50 feet or something. It's pretty big if it's not very thick. 6 inches thick and composed of 10 foot by 10 foot panels. Okay, so it's basically 20 feet, or it's 100 square feet of 6-inch thick stone wall. In this case, given the size limitations, he does have a number of buildings that would fit those limitations. Since it's a wall, obviously there'll still have to be more construction done to make it a functional building. Like, they'll have to cut a door into it and stuff, but yeah, he points to one section of the town, and he says, "We'll be building a shelter in this area for those who can't or won't be relocated. I believe it would be very helpful to keep this, to have this building built quickly. So whatever you can do to help would be greatly appreciated." What are the components? I don't think there's anything in Wall of Stone that has like a cost, but yeah, just a small block of granite. Which, even if you don't already have it as a component, you could just granite everywhere. You're in the mountains, so. So you look out the window. Can you see the location from here? From this room, you can't. But if you step out into the hallway, the window that's directly across the hallway, because this room sort of looks back toward the mountains. But if you step out into the hallway, the window facing down that way faces forward, and you are able to see it from there. As you step out, you comment, "Who puts windows in hallways?" And from the vantage point that you have, you are able to see it's more or less, if you're looking to the left, that's where the big pit is, and that's where the storage for secret ingredient was. It's on the other side to the right. There's like a whole block of buildings that you can see have just been leveled. And Prudence, you give him a respectful bow, thank him, and go find Hoyd to drag him along. Shigun, let's cut over to you. You are going to the North District to try and find Honoroi?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you head up in that direction, and as it's still, like, as previously mentioned, this area of town is surprisingly untouched.
Yeah.
And you can see there are a couple of citizens who, this was sort of the lower income area, if you will. Not exactly the slums, because your father does keep things a little bit, more well maintained than that, but these are the less well-off individuals in the villa.
Right.
And you can see there's a couple of people as you walk by. A few give you little nods of deference. Others kind of look at you with this sort of almost impassive or unimpressed kind of look. You in particular hadn't had very much interaction with the people in this part of the villa before you left, so they recognize who you are, but otherwise not a whole lot of interaction there.
I'm just another knight to them, basically.
Pretty much. You're someone who's above their station and thus not worth knowing. Really.
Gotcha.
So you're wandering around, and it's easy enough to find Honoroi. His voice carries pretty well. And interestingly, he seems to have a rapport with these people. He's talking to a number of older individuals, and they're like drinking, and you hear one of them laugh as he finishes telling a joke, and he looks up and he sees you approaching, and he's kind of sets the drink down and stands, sort of straightens his tunic a bit. Says, sir?
Alright.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
He kind of glances at the rest of the group, and one of them, like, gives a big, like, grin. You see one of his teeth is missing, and just gestures with the drink toward you. And he says, I've found that not everyone is, fortunately, as put out as others. The people up here seem to be doing pretty well. The shock of what has happened seems to have been limited up here, so fortunately they and he kind of like trails off as he realizes he's starting to ramble.
I just let him ramble a little bit. He's kind
Okay.
of smile.
He goes on to describe a couple of interesting things that he had noticed. Actually, I'm gonna make him roll for this. Gonna get out my my lapis lazuli d20 here. Not great, but not bad either. So he goes on to mention a couple of small details he noticed, like the sort of like potholes in the road that had been found. Almost, they seem to terminate almost at a straight line after a certain point. And the creature seems to have left this entire region not only untouched, but practically ignored. Nobody up here seems to recall anyone missing, which is, in their eyes, sort of a testament to their, their superiority in the sense of, like, being down to earth. Like, they're the...
Right.
They're the I don't remember what it's called. They're the
99%.
not salt of the earth, because salt of the earth is the bad thing.
Oh.
The good... I don't know. Whatever.
I get what you're trying to say.
I don't remember
yeah.
the phrase off the top of my head. But he does note, like, he had discovered these things that, like, very specific details about how this place had been left alone. He actually brings you over and he shows you there is a building that had been just almost practically cleanly sheared along that line that he noticed where the creature stopped. Its sort of control.
Very interesting.
And he kind of stops and takes a breath for the first time in a while, and yeah, that's what I've discovered. Sir.
You've been doing well considering all that's happened, and I'm glad that there's at least some sense of normalcy here.
Yes. Well, they seem to think that the creature was after money, and they don't exactly have any, so...
Yeah, we still don't fully understand exactly why it targeted us, why it left this particular part of the villa alone. I imagine we'll probably seek some outside help, maybe do some research, figure out what this creature exactly was so it doesn't happen again, but for now, it's dead, and all we can do now is move forward and rebuild. And I'm glad that you're here, helping to keep spirits up with the rest of the people.
Yes, spirits are up. Yes. He kind of leans in. Did you know that it's possible to brew spirits in a small wash basin if you're careful enough? I didn't know that.
Really now?
And he goes on to describe what is essentially a still for bootleg liquor that one of the people here had shown him.
I just kind of smirk and kind of just chuckle a little bit to myself. Well, that stuff can be pretty potent, so don't go too crazy with it.
Oh no, don't worry. They told me that if I had it, I'd go blind, and I don't plan on that. So,
They
yeah.
might not be far off the mark. We'll be staying here for a couple days at least while we, get our bearings and make heads and tails of what's happened. There's a very high chance that we may set out in the near future, but I've been thinking since I've been gone for so long and have neglected your training, I'd like to extend the offer for you to come with us if
Yes.
you're willing.
He doesn't even let you finish.
I kind of just go. He kind of catches me mid sentence, and I'm just like, all right.
Yes. Yes. I would be. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I would be honored to
You're
be
fine.
to follow along with you and train with you and see what your companions are all about.
You're young, but you have a lot of potential, and you have a lot of spirit, which I like.
And as you
So-
mention the word spirit again, you hear just one of the nearby citizens give a little quick bark of a laugh, and he says, "Shh, shh, shh," and they kind of chuckle
Like,
and walk off.
Ha!
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, that's sort of nice.
So I'll keep you apprised of our developments and when we may be heading out. So you've got some time to kind of, I guess, hang out here if you like, or if you'd wish to return to the estate, whichever you feel like. But I'll let you know whenever we're going to leave.
Is there anything that I wasn't given specific instruction? Just sort of came up here to, because I noticed that the people of the North District seem to have been left alone. I wanted to see if I could figure anything out about it. But is there anything
good.
specific that you or your father need me to do?
Not at the moment, but what you've done is a good thing because it's very proactive thinking on your part. So, right now, if you wish to just remain here and for a little while, you're free to do that. And if I come up with anything I need your help on, or if my father needs you, or if any of the other knights need you, I'm sure they know where to find you.
Yes. Good. Yes. I think I'll talk to I'll talk to Lord. I've completely just blanked on your Fortemps. Completely blanked on your last name there for a second. I'll talk to Lord Fortemps and see if he has any work for me.
Very good, lad.
You see, he kind of reaches over behind just sort of what he was using as a seat, basically just a pile of little sacks and like grain bags and stuff. He pulls out a small wooden training sword that he had been keeping on him, and he sticks it into his belt and scampers off in the direction of the estate.
I think he'll do just fine in his training, I say to myself.
You don't know if he has you don't know if he has an actual sword yet or not. I mean, kid's like what, 15, 16, so
About that, yeah.
not-
I didn't have an age planned for him, but yeah, I was thinking,
he's not that old.
teenage. Yeah, not quite a full adult yet, but he's not a kid either.
Right. And he's been training with your father, so he's got a good bit of muscle, and he's not like, he's not like Merlin in the old Sword in the Stone cartoon. He's built a little bit more than that. More like oh god, what was his name? Aragon's brother in the Aragon books. Rurik, I think was his name. He's kind of built.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean,
If he doesn't
you even more so, but
Yes, Roran is the name.
yeah.
If he doesn't have a real sword, he'll be getting one at some point.
Fucking head that. I haven't thought about that in forever.
Okay, so are you going to be doing anything else while you're out right now?
Trying to think if there's anything else I should be really doing. I suppose I'll just head back to the more destroyed portions of town just to give it another once over, see if anyone else is needing help with anything, or if there's any anything like that.
Okay.
Oh.
So you kind of wander off in this would be sort of the like northwestern portion of the town. You actually reach that sort of line that Honoroi pointed out, and it's interesting. You take a step on the road, on this sort of like cobblestone road that you have, and you notice that the ground is a little spongy's not the right word, but like the rock had been crushed slightly. So you go from a sort of neat cobblestone road to almost this crushed rock kind of path, which you remember was not like that before. But it is almost a clean line where there's a division where that started and ended.
Can I do an investigation check to see if I can determine anything else odd about it, or would this kind of fall under more magic-y kind of stuff because of the hybrid stuff?
I would say make.
Or is that just all I can determine from...
It's a little bit outside your field of expertise. This would probably be something that you'd want somebody with experience with stonework
Who could that be?
to work with, to take a look at, or like a mason or something like that.
Depending on the time of day this is, I might be done with my potion work.
Yeah, it's a bit outside your wheelhouse.
Gotcha.
It didn't take an incredibly long amount of time, so Rurik is about halfway through his potion brewing business at this point.
Well, I can come back to that later whenever, Rurik's finished with his potioning.
Okay. Yeah, you spend a little bit of time just sort of in the more destroyed portion. You find a number, probably about 3 or 4 different citizens that are picking through the rubble of their former homes and collecting personal belongings and any valuables that they may have had. You help a few of them lift large pieces of stone or like a bookshelf that had fallen or whatever.
Right.
And you help people retrieve things from their former homes.
All the wounded have already been accounted for, right?
At this point, yes.
Okay.
All right. At this point, if we fast forward a little bit to the end of what everybody has been doing, you would be just finishing up as Prudence and Hoyd kind of amble along. Hoyd is doing the ambling. Prudence is walking with a very sort of precise step.
What's the important job Prudence has for Floyd?
I too would like to know this.
So Prudence, you're bringing Hoyd along. You see Shigun, and you explain to Shigun the sort of location that your father has pointed out to build into a structure. You point vaguely off in one direction. He says, your father's told me to build a shelter for your... I guess you're a Kiwi now. I don't know. To build a shelter for your citizens to stay in, the ones that don't have homes and don't want to relocate into a new one. So, okay, yeah. If you ask for chalk, it's easy enough to find. That's just something that the guard would have on hand to mark things, especially when surveying and so on. So you
Do you need help finding the location, Prudence?
Says sure. And you describe the location to Shigun based on what you remember from the map. And Shigun, you realize you're not 3 steps away from it. But Prudence had just slightly overestimated how far away it was, so you pointed out it is an area of what used to be 2 separate homes. You don't see anyone in them, but it's a space that used to be occupied by 2 separate homes that has been blocked off for this sort of shelter structure. Yes, it is a deconstructed open concept courtyard. Now the question is, did any vegans live here? And then which one would they tell you about first?
I wonder if it would be worth trying to investigate the body
So,
of the
Prudence,
as
you-
well as the lair
So,
around it.
In this area, there's actually nobody immediately in the surrounding area. You turn to Hoyd. Hoyd, I would like to ensure that no one disturbs the concentration on my spell. If I lose concentration for even a second, the stone goes away, and I will have to wait until tomorrow to cast it again. I actually kind of really like Prudence as a Kiwi. I think I'm going to keep doing this accent.
Until it changes next session.
Yes, until I forget what Taika Waititi sounds like, and then...
I don't care how you voice them. I like it regardless.
Yeah.
Hoyd, exactly how long do you need me to enthrall my audience?
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Rock's voice is a little deeper than mine, so I apologize.
I'm currently eating ice cream, so you did a good job.
Prudence, you do a quick look through that little notebook you have. I think I will need 10 minutes. This is excellent.
Come on, have you heard the tale of the goat man
No.
frozen in time?
God, no. The goat man under the city.
He can be
I
friends
have
with the dead.
I have my magnum opus prepared.
Oh no.
As far as you know, that goat's still there.
Magnum Opus number 2.
I hope one day we can revisit the goat.
Act 1 of 5 of The Goat Man Cometh. Good God.
The Goatman Chronicles.
I'm sorry, the goat man thing is way too fucking funny.
And with prequel.
No!
It's stopping time. That's a good trick. The Phantom.
That's amazing, Shigun.
This is too good.
Alright, so as Prudence, you carefully cast the spell and sort of almost like you look down your palm and split the space with one of your hands, and these growths just pull up out of the ground, and in the space that you've created, you watch as there are small supports that are pulled from the wall just to reinforce it. And you very carefully looking around, you sort of put your palm flat against the stone and extrude almost a support to make sure it stays up. And it just the stone wall goes up, and you spend the next sort of couple minutes reinforcing, and then you every so often you have to make sure you're maintaining concentration on the spell, so you just keep your focus is almost entirely on the wall, and every so often you look at the top of the wall and you notice that part of it's not sagging but starting to crumble slightly, and you just pull a little bit more of the stone out from the ground to reinforce it. Fortunately, you're on the side of a mountain, so the stone here is hardy and not at all
Scarce?
difficult to work with or scarce. Wallowstone would create stone even if there weren't any, but in this case, you're basically doing what they did in Pitchfield to build the castle, just in a much more simplistic way. You're just extruding the rock straight out from the ground.
Good shit.
And And Hoyd, what are you doing to... Alright. Oh, you use your enthralling... Your enthralling, what is it? Enthralling...
My enthralling performance.
That's... Oh... Is that a new feature for you?
I've had that.
Oh no, you used it in the bar before, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
say
I'm pretty
the
sure it's
bar
been
as
good
if you haven't
before.
been to like 6.
Mm-hmm.
So you...
4 creatures have to make a DC 16 Wisdom save.
Okay. The nearest... Well, do you want to specifically target not members of your party? Because there
Yes.
are... Okay.
I will specifically target not Prudence.
Okay, well, because, Shigun's
suck.
here as well.
I will target other people.
Where did... What? Oh no! Did... Oh, okay, thank goodness. Sorry, I thought I...
Specifically anybody who looks like they might be causing trouble or about to.
Okay. Well, in that case, make an insight check. I had a moment of panic there because I thought I'd left one of my dice in Seattle and I was going to be real mad about it.
Oh no.
Oh, like
Because it
a
was
good
this one.
die?
It was this one that I couldn't find.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, I like that.
That's pretty.
What was your insight?
You're
4.
4? I mean, it's tough for you to get a bead on these people's intentions. They all just kind of look sad. So you're not sure whether any of them have ill intentions in mind. So you kind of pick 4 at random. And it's DC 16, you said?
Yep.
Alright. Number 1, that's a 4. Number 2, that's an 8. Good God. Number 3, that's cocked. Number 3 is a 4. Oh my God. Number 4 is a 12. So they all fail. So four of the nearby
Wonderful.
citizens that Shigun had been helping, sort of slowly drop what they're doing as this sort of like mist starts to bead off of the corners of your armor, however you glamored it today, and you get this little sort of hover up off the floor as you're describing the epic of part 1 of 5 of the Goatman epic. But yeah, for the next, is it 10 minutes?
Hour.
For the next hour, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have these 4 enthralled citizens of the villa.
And I will use them to crowd control away from Prudence.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean they are more than willing to help you. They
Of course they are. They're
are
my
a couple
people.
Of, yeah, there are a couple of people who are they hear what's going on and they sort of wander over in this direction, but they one of your thralls, if you will, kind of just gives them this weird broad smile and kind of just like gently urges them away.
And they just talk their ear off about how good I am.
Yeah, and they're talking about, oh, did you see the most important member of the party? He's right over there. They point over in your direction.
Mm-hmm.
I just wouldn't have been able to do it without him. You know, I don't know how we lived without him. And blah, 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 and they just keep going on and on and on.
Mm-hmm. Please, more. Tell me more.
I will leave that up to your imagination. Because we're using theater of the mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Freaking goat man.
So that finishes up. What do you do for the other remaining 50 minutes that you have of these people?
Yeah, because the spell only takes 10, doesn't it?
It does.
Yep,
Oh,
you only have
boy.
to maintain concentration for 10 minutes and then it's permanent.
So now it's just Hoyd showing off.
Of course it is. I might teach them an interpretive dance.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Whatever. Just don't steal from anyone or murder anyone.
Okay. So Prudence, you're more or less ignoring Hoyd, and you turn to Shigun and say, "Well, that's all done. What's next?"
Yeah.
Well, we could
just-
see what Zook and Rurik are up to. I think Rurik said he's using the kitchen for potion brewing.
Okay. So you'll head up that way. Zook, I believe this whole time you've been more or less practicing your performance and wandering the town. Is there anything else you were doing?
Not really. What are my party members doing? I haven't really been keeping up.
At this point, well, the Hoyd is being Hoyd. Shigun and Prudence are now heading up to meet Rurik in the kitchen, in the estate. And then
And
Rurik
Rurik's potion
is just wrapping up brewing a potion.
Are we staying in the estate?
That's where you're staying, yeah. That's where you
Okay,
have rooms.
then I'd like to go there and see who I can find.
Okay, so you take a couple of
Just,
Take a couple of
happen
hours
to bump into these people.
Go ahead and roll performance, just to see how you were doing while you were out and about. Oot in a boot, as they say in Canada, or I guess northern Minnesota.
19.
19. Okay. Yeah, I mean your performance goes well. There aren't any slip-ups, which is good. A couple of people's spirits are raised. A couple of people are kind of annoyed, like they feel like you're making light of their situation, but most people understand that that's not what you're doing. So, just the really grumpy ones think that. And you weren't gonna reach them no matter how hard you tried anyway. So your performance goes well. People know who you are, which is nice to say the least. So you get a couple of appreciative nods here and there as people are working to rebuild. As you wrap up your performance, you head back to the estate and run into Prudence and Shigun as they're just heading up the steps. You can see the big hole in the ground that the false hydra fell into has a number of guards sort of ringing around the outside, keeping people away. Make a perception check for Deer to see if Deer found Zook during his performance. It's not a high DC. He wasn't exactly trying to hide, but this is just seeing whether she saw him or not. I believe. Does she have advantage with things involving sight, or is that a different creature? Trust him? Oh, it's smell, not sight. I mean, I don't know. I'd be okay saying that she can use smell to try and find him. Honestly. Ooh. Same thing. Yeah, I mean, it takes her a bit. She gets kind of distracted. But yeah, she does find him. He's not exactly hiding. But she finds him about 2.5 to 3 hours after she sets out. So, Zook, you notice Deer kind of fluttering around you most of the way through your performance. And do you do anything with her, or do you more or less just pay her no mind?
incorporate her with the tricks, but I'm happy she's here.
Okay, so you try to work with her to do a small little bit?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Sorry, I heard one or the other, and I didn't quite catch which.
I don't incorporate her into the tricks.
But she certainly tries to incorporate herself, but she's not successful. Because you're a little bit better than she is at this. So she does follow you back to the estate with the rest of everybody else. So you guys meet up at the foot of the stairs leading up into the estate. You say anything to each other, or you just kind of?
Oh, hello.
Okay. Prudence doesn't say anything anyway.
Well, I guess let's head inside.
Okay. Prudence, inside it is. At this point, yeah, you're still being entertained by your guests. Yes, you're no longer the one entertaining. So you guys head up the stairs, and no, you've heard this before. Yeah, it's just the intro to another version of this. So you guys head up the stairs to into the estate itself, and you make your way down the hallway to the little kitchen area that Rurik was working in. And you come into the room, and Rurik is indeed working on his potion. He's just finishing up. You can see he's now just setting everything down and putting the little cover over the little pot that he's using to boil off the various ingredients.
Just needs to simmer. Yes, hello. How goes the town and the people?
Well, Prudence is helping to set up a shelter that my father has requested of him by using some of his stone magic. There's actually a matter I'd like to ask your help on.
Oh. How can I be of assistance?
When I was in the northern section of town, the part that was untouched, the ground underneath the cobblestone seemed a bit strange. There's a part where the untouched portion of town is completely normal and the cobblestone is hard and firm, but as soon as you cross a certain threshold, the ground feels like it's been disturbed, almost as if it's very slightly spongy. And I'm wondering if that might have been some sort of limit to the Hydra's advances. I don't know if it's magic-based, or if it manipulated the earth in some way, or if it's significant at all.
It could have been ineffective when it burrowed, but I'd be happy to take a closer look at it.
I would appreciate that. I don't know if we'll be able to learn anything, but...
Is it just that the soil's soft?
It felt softer than usual when it should be paved cobblestone, yes.
Was it already soft?
Not before this.
Okay.
I will put up a notice next to my workstation to implore not to disturb it, and I will follow Shigun out to where he wanted me to investigate.
I just find it strange because the northern part was completely untouched, and I'd like to know why.
It is passing strange.
Okay,
The
so you
common
go.
folk seem to think that maybe it favored the wealthier parts of town, but I don't know if there's any truth to that at all, or if it's just coincidence. I don't know.
Okay, so you head over to the Northern District. That's the word. And you
North.
you
North.
go and you yes, the North.
Newell.
Can you get a hint on what is? What the cause of it is? Prudence?
Fairly confident the false Hydra is in fact a false Hydra.
I'd make a nature check. So you guys head over, and Shigun shows you the line in the ground where the ground suddenly becomes softer and more crushed. It's not a purple worm. This particular behavior, I'd say you wouldn't be intimately familiar with. You may.
I know more about nature. I've lived there.
You may. Well, you may. I mean, you know where to look. You now have at least one book that references the false Hydra, if possibly more, in that store or in X marks the spot or in the study, or there are various other places that you may be able to look for more information. But as it stands right now, unfortunately, there's not a lot. The false Hydra isn't exactly common knowledge or uncommon knowledge, so you are not familiar with this behavior. However, Prudence and Rurik, you both take a look. Rurik, with your stone cunning. Remind me what stone cunning actually does. I think it's a check advantage on or plus something on checks for.
Yes, whenever I make an intelligence history check related to the origin of stonework, I am considered proficient and add double my proficiency bonus to it. But I don't know if that really applies here.
Okay. Well,
Are you making a history check?
Yeah, in this case, because of you're trying to determine what was actually done to this sort of structure, you can make a history check on it.
Ah, cool.
It's a combination of investigation and history. In this case, you're both looking at it and sort of trying to judge, sort of based on your experience with stonework, what was done to it.
Right. That's a 25. Woo!
You had double your proficiency.
I did.
Oh.
Yep. So with the 25, you yeah, plus 8 plus 1. Yeah. So with the 25, it's not behavior that you're familiar with, but you can definitely see that it's interesting. The false Hydra had stomped up to this point and then stopped. You can see various claw marks on the ground and just cracking in the stone from the thing's sheer weight. You're not exactly sure why that would stop here, but this sort of destruction to the road was caused by the false Hydra, and it does stop at a very distinct line.
If I step back and look around and mentally project where that line is there any damage to the other structures or the houses above ground beyond that point?
Yeah, the destruction of the homes and the various damage that you can see does follow this line, and it almost cleanly cuts the northern district there's like one point where there's a slight deflection around, but it's
So it extends, like the destruction extends along the length of the line, but there's nothing that's really destroyed past the line where it's like the effectiveness of the disruption stops.
correct. Not only has there not been any destruction, it actually doesn't even, like, there's not even damage from anything past that point. Other than just, general wear and tear.
Such a strange detail. Perhaps it only worked within a specific marked territory? Do these creatures do that?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I mean, we know it was an intelligent creature.
Some of the common folk up here seem to believe that it had a taste for the wealthier citizens,
Or perhaps
That's a behavior more befitting a dragon, I would say, but I honestly couldn't tell you because I don't know. I know as much about these creatures as the rest of us do. So.
I hate to suggest it, but perhaps it was instructed.
That could be possible.
Like, a creature that wanted nothing more to feed wouldn't make such a distinction between impoverished or the wealthy. He wouldn't draw a very literal line.
True, and the people here aren't exactly, they're not malnourished, they're not underfed, they're just as healthy and fine as, the nobility and some of the more well-off citizens. So, a creature that was seeking to feed probably would not make such a distinction.
This is going to be a very difficult thing to suggest, but perhaps it might be worth investigating the pit from whence it came. If we can.
Sounds like a grand plan.
When did you get here?
Ah!
What?
And then Hoyd learned to materialize out of the ether.
Oh, great. Now you're going to take the picture of him attacking the Lawmaster and replace it with Shigun, aren't you?
Maybe.
Oh, God.
Prudence actually said something while we were discussing.
Yeah, or perhaps it could not get to that point. I don't know. I don't actually know where that line was slipped in. I wasn't looking at that specific chat.
We were just... I imagine it was when we were talking about its limitations.
Oh, yeah.
So
basically you're saying it just didn't get to there in its destruction path and it happens to be a line?
No. Oh, I do have a book that does seem to indicate some manner of information regarding the creature, but I don't know if it would have any information regarding where they come from or if they can be tamed. Because if it was in fact instructed, that would suggest it was tamed somehow.
Or enslaved, yeah.
So that's 3 for exploring the deep dark pit.
Okay.
I'll take a look at that book a bit later.
Prudence has access to flight, which is really handy for dealing with long falls.
Let's be cautious, because I don't know what manner of...
I think Featherfall would be more useful here, but yes.
Oh, right. Featherfall's a thing.
I am not investigating the pit.
If we decide to check the pit out, we have to be extremely careful, because...
Are you afraid, Zook?
Oh, of course. Being careful goes without question.
Because I don't know what sort of residual magical nonsense this creature might be oozing out in its corpse.
Well, lucky for us, we're very well equipped to deal with that.
At least it's dead.
Or so we hope.
Yes.
As far as you know, it is.
Roll this now.
Everyone roll initiative! No, I'm not going to do that to you. That'd be a dick move, huh?
You can use the telepathic bond to have your familiar communicate with the rest of us? Oh, that's neat! Oh, that's so cool!
So Rary
Even Nibbler agrees!
That woke our cat up and she meowed.
So, yeah, you forge a telepathic link among up to 8 willing creatures of your choice within range. Do you have any, Do you have another 5th level spell slot? Oh, you're casting it as a ritual. Okay. So about,
Alright, that's
about 10
excellent.
minutes later, yeah, you forge a telepathic link of up to 8 willing creatures of your choice within range, psychically linking each creature to all the others for the duration, which includes the Tressum. Till the spell ends, targets can communicate telepathically through the bond whether or not they have a common language. The communication is possible over any distance, though it can't extend to other planes of existence.
Prudence, remind me, does deer have dark vision, or do they require light?
She
excellent.
does.
You could probably ask a deer
Oh yes, I
at this
could.
point.
I could now. I'm not yet used to being able to communicate directly with deer.
So
The pressure.
You ask deer. Do you psychically ask deer whether she has dark vision or whether she can see in the dark?
Are you able to see in the dark?
There's a moment where like she cocks her head, trying to quite grasp what it is that she's hearing, and she looks over in your direction and says, "Why, yes,"
Oh, excellent.
telepathically.
And
She-
I'd also like to take a moment to thank you for all that you've helped us with these over this time.
Well, naturally. I don't know
Oh, I
what
love
she would have
her.
done without me.
I love her already.
And you can see she goes over to Prudence and kind of like brushes up against his leg and does that cat thing and looks up with these little, aren't I adorable eyes that cats do.
Yep. Certified cat.
She's-
Certified.
she's-
Certified.
She's like partway between Raven and Cat right now. She's got a couple of Raven, like every so often she might hop on her back legs, on her rear legs, but then she'll catch herself and move quadrupedally. Prudence, you give her a little scritch behind the ears and tell her, please investigate the pit and stay safe. Tell us everything you see, even the boring things. And Prudence kind of lazily
I'm
looks
almost
up.
Australian right there.
It's the same accent, I'm just bad at keeping accents. Shut up.
It's okay. It's fun. I like it.
I'm
boring
sliding
thing-
I'm sliding slightly Aussie with it by accident. That wasn't my intent.
He's drifting west. He's going from New Zealand to Australia.
Multi-continent drifting.
You stop that.
So continental drift.
Continental
Yeah,
drift.
the accent's just going.
Okay, so yeah, Prudence, in addition to sending Deer off, you'll also use the ability that Find Familiar gives you to look through Deer's eyes as far as you can. Okay, so she kind of gives you a lazy look and says, well, alright, I guess if that's all I'm good for. And she steps off the side of the pit and just plummets. She has her wings folded and she just plummets straight down. She travels for
Okay.
about, what's the distance on your Find Familiar? I think it's, what, like 1,000 feet or something? 100 feet? Yeah, it's less than that. She goes straight down for about 50 feet before opening her wings and catching herself, and she lands on the body of the creature, which is still down there. And as she lands, she kind of like flicks her paw a little bit and says, oh, that's disgusting. Well, it smells awful down here. She takes a glance around. It does. It stings like dead body real bad. And she looks around. She says, well, it's definitely a pit. I can see... Oh, what's this? She kind of hops down from the body and about maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall. there's a tunnel that extends out like almost straight outward there. She kind of cocks her head and she says, "Well, it looks like there's a hole. I'm gonna go check it out." And she wanders down in that direction. So what she didn't verbally say to you, what you saw through her eyes, there was a small, I wouldn't say like a hoard of treasure, but there were a couple of things here and there that either had been snagged by accident or perhaps had been desperately offered in exchange for surviving that obviously didn't work.
Loot.
And Prudence, you say go ahead as far in as you can, but don't get hurt. And Deer thinks back. When have I ever gotten hurt? And let me double check the wording of Find Familiar.
Do familiars feel pain?
Telepathically, see through my eyes. Okay. Do familiars feel pain? Yes. They are living creatures. I mean, they're fey spirits given physical form. So they don't normally feel pain, but they do in this form. And she steps down into the tunnel, and looking through, the tunnel extends further than her dark vision can see. It's more than 60 feet deep. And she says, "Well, it's going to be a while. I hope you're settled in up there for a long trip." Okay.
What's the bearing of the tunnel?
Is the telepathic bond concentration? Or is it not? It is not. Okay. So you're able to cast Fly on Zook and Hoyd.
No, I'm not doing
Zook
that.
Well,
Zook doesn't want to go into the pit. Zook
Is
got
he
spooked.
Is he gonna cast? Are you gonna cast Fly on him anyway?
Something Hoyd would do.
Okay, so you still have Fly on you.
Okay, well, I'm going to use my fly to hover in midair as though I'm sitting on a recliner.
Like
Okay.
like a Zan.
Just like to chill, you know?
Prudence, you think down. You have an hour before.
And
the
look at
bond-
the sky. The sky is nice. You
You
don't
have
get
an
to
hour?
see it often in a forest.
You have an hour before the bond ends, so please hurry. And you can sort of feel Deer's exasperation almost, and she says, "I'll be fine." And she heads down the tunnel. So the rest of you, Hoyd and Zook, you both now have Fly on you. Are you casting Fly on anybody else? I think you have, what, 4 targets? Something like that?
God damn it, Ember. I blame you.
You're welcome. Okay, so you have 2. Okay, so it's Zook and Hoyd. You both have Fly. Zook, you're sort of hovering up in the air, just taking advantage of weightlessness. Hoyd, do you head down there?
Mm-hmm. I will.
Would is the darkness at that depth going to be a problem, or would you like me to shed some light?
I would rather stay hidden.
Okay. I know he has dark vision, but I wasn't sure if.
I can hear Rurik going,
I
light domain. Nah.
I mean, I'm just offering because I have access to something that's a little bit more potent than just light.
That's true. Then the light cantrip, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, the Twilight Domain has a friggin' busted dark vision ability. It's
I was reading the Twilight Domain when I was
200
looking up other domain and stuff. They get some really cool stuff.
250
Alright.
feet dark vision, I think, and you can grant it to somebody once a day. It's Busted.
And they can fly at
Mr.
night.
100.
Alright, I have a compromise. You can cast... I'm assuming you're going to use the cantrip light.
I can do either that, or I have access to a spell that creates a larger radius of brighter light.
Shigun,
It's daylight, I think, yeah.
does your sword require attunement?
Does it?
Sunblade, I think, does.
To use it? Just the light?
Hmm. I know
Let's
my
see.
father messed with it a little bit.
The
in
Sunblade-
study, but
Yeah, the Sunblade does require attunement, so you wouldn't be able to use it without attuning to it.
Ah, okay, never mind.
But didn't his father like take it and like wave it around a little bit?
Yeah, for story purposes, yeah.
Oh,
segregation of story and gameplay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
mechanically, unfortunately, if you're looking to get a mechanical benefit, you would have to attune to it.
It works because we're related. That's the
Yes.
explanation.
you turn on the lightsaber and start straight into it.
All right, Luke Skywalker.
Immediately points at face. Well,
Could you cast light on my dagger so I can sheath it as I need?
certainly I can do that. I will take his dagger and cast the light on it, and it becomes a light dagger.
Okay. So you have light. It's bright light for 10 and dim for another 10, I believe.
Yes. Sheds bright light in 20-foot radius, and then dim light for an additional 20. Sorry, it's
Oh, it's
10
20,
and
20. Sorry, I thought it was 10, 10.
It
Okay.
gives you 20/20 vision.
Wow, that's good in Prudence.
And the dagger becomes heavy. Ah,
All right,
Bad
boy.
joke is night falls.
So as you head down
if you
into
were
the
to jump,
pit,
then the night would fall.
you do a very acrobatic good trick on the way down.
Mhm.
I'm disappointed. I was
Clearly
hoping,
having fun with this fly.
I was hoping at least one of you would catch that, but that's okay.
What?
And you are experimenting with fly, and you're kind of dicking around with it as you go down. But you only got 10 minutes, so
Mhm.
you do hit the not hit, but you do hover about 2 or 3 feet away from the still form of the false Hydra. And with the light, you can see its skin sort of the same sort of mottled gray
Mhm.
color. It is a little smelly. It is starting to rot. But looking around, you see. Well, make an investigation check to see how much of it you are able to see within that 10 minutes.
Okay. Investigation?
Yep.
It's an 11.
Alright, so, okay. You hear Prudence's voice in your head. Perhaps it's best to burn it. I don't know why, but I heard the name Bernard when I was saying burn it. Bernard. Now I've got Rescuers Down Under stuck in my head. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's such a great film.
Bernard. Rescuers Down Under, aka ha, you thought you weren't a furry. So you, with an 11, you are able to find, I mean, there's not a lot in the way of treasure, per se. As I mentioned, you do find, collectively, probably 35 gold pieces, 10 silver, and 17 copper pieces. You also find a small pouch that you open it up and look inside, and you can see it has a number of small gems inside. You don't really have enough time to really examine what's in there, but you have a couple of gems in a bag. You find a small, semi-ornately carved dagger. Oh, excuse me. And you also find... hang on.
Does the dagger speak to me?
You put your ear up to it. No.
I put it back in the bag.
Okay. You do also find a a holy symbol of some kind. I'm trying to think if you know what this is.
Does it speak to me?
No, you would actually recognize. You'd recognize it's the same symbol that Edmont was wearing around his neck. That sort of like white flower heart, the symbol of Rao. And that actually, so you listen to it and you hear it whisper ever so slightly, ever so quietly, a short list of the tenets of the god of Rao. You hear, let's see, you hear peace, reason, diplomacy. And you kind of pull away, not expecting to have heard anything.
Before it finishes, I will put it back in the bag.
Okay. You tilt in again, you hear peace, reason, diplomacy again. Okay, so you put that in the bag as well.
I will let the party know that I found some trinkets, and Rurik might want to look at one thing, but I don't care for it.
Okay, you float back up.
Mm-hmm. Can I look at the Hydra a little bit closer? Are any of the heads still there?
You don't have a lot of time left. You're at about minute 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Taking a quick glance over, Prudence had fireballed this thing in the face. So you can actually see there are 4 singed stumps where the heads were but are no longer.
Alright, I will quickly,
and you like watch as the section that had been fireballed was cauterized, but there's still the internal portion that is just like oozing this disgusting sort of dark. Yeah, you have color, so this like dark red, almost fully coagulated blood just.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea, Prudence. I will try to cut open its stomach though.
Like that ooze we fought.
I don't recommend it.
Okay, by the way, it's 17 copper, 17. You put 7. You will attempt to cut
it's
it open.
It's copper. Nobody counts it. Yes.
Okay. Make an attack roll to see if you can get through its tough hide.
Oh, you're stabbing it?
Stabbing it with a dagger.
Stabbing it with a light dagger.
Yes, with the light dagger. Excellent, thank you.
It effortlessly pierces the flesh and instantly cauterizes it.
20.
20 will hit. Yeah, so you're using the dagger, you're able to pierce into the sort of like thick leathery flesh of this creature and cut along one side. And it's basically, you remember in Empire Strikes Back where
oh yes, that's exactly what was happening.
Han cuts open the tauntaun, and the comment is, "I thought they smelled bad on the outside."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, this thing reeks. Make a Constitution saving throw, please.
God, the inside of that tauntaun always looked so freaking weird. It's like splorpy white.
Splorpy is a great word.
Splorpy. 13? 13's not enough. You actually spend the next, I'd say, 15 to 20 seconds just hacking and coughing as this thing's gases escape and not poison you, but it obscures your vision and makes it difficult for you to concentrate.
That was unpleasant, Prudence.
I'm so glad that I could only telepathically hear and understand you rather than share your other senses?
I will describe in exacting detail what that tasted like.
Okay.
You should do
Prudence,
that while you're coming back up here.
Prudence says,
Telepathically.
well, you shouldn't have cut it open. And of note, because of the ichor that's now on the blade, the light is now dimmed, as it is partially obscured.
Fantastic. Great. You've coated it in goop. Oh my
How many Star Wars references?
Don't say that. Don't say that. I don't want to owe licensing fees to Gwyneth Paltrow. All right, what you doing?
With my remaining time, I will fly up, not over the middle of the pit towards the edge in case the flight gives out.
Okay.
I like my legs in the two pieces that they're in.
Make a history check, just to see if you're able to keep track of time that tightly. I'll say the DC's 10. It's not hard, but if you get less than a 10, there you go. You got a 12. Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't able to keep track of time that reliably, but you are. So you are able to get just up to the lip of the pit, and your feet are just settling onto the ground when you feel the spell drop you. And it's an unwelcome feeling, suddenly feeling gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. I know.
I might take that spell myself. That was enjoyable.
I will cut over to Deer now. So Deer can remain in telepathic communication with you over any distance because of the bond, but she does reach a point where she is now more than 100 feet away from you because trigonometry. Trigonometry? Yes, trigonometry. So she fairly quickly reaches that point because she's about 50 feet down, and then 60 feet is the length of her dark vision. So diagonally, that's not very far. So do you follow her off in that direction, or do you just allow her to go and depend on the telepathic bond? Okay, so you pull your consciousness back from Deer, and the rest of you watch as Prudence kind of rocks forward again as his concentration as his consciousness returns, and you she continues to crawl forward. It's about 3 feet tall is the opening, and she continues to stalk her way forward, and she eventually hits what appears to be a ladder, just going straight up.
Ooh.
And she says, "Well, I found a ladder."
Hey,
no, that's Prudence's accent. She says, "Well, I found a ladder."
That's not good.
A ladder.
A ladder.
A creature would have no need for a ladder.
This creature wouldn't fit in this opening either.
How far into the pit is Deer right now?
She is about 600 feet away at this point. So
Shigun, were you aware of any?
She's a couple of houses over, basically. She's a couple of blocks over, rather.
So once you got to the bottom of the pit, she went straight across somewhere to. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. And this. Okay. I must have missed that part about the tunnel.
Yep, she found a tunnel, and it was just basically a straight tunnel for about 600-ish feet. Well, 650 feet or so. And then she found a ladder.
And about how big is the tunnel again? It's not like Hydra-sized, is it?
No, not even close. It's only about 3 feet tall at its tallest point.
I take it you weren't aware of such an underground structure in your villa.
I tried to comment earlier, but I was muted. So when the fly spell expired, like Zook just fell onto his back because like it wasn't keeping track of time.
Yeah, Zook, you there's a moment where the wind's knocked from you as you hit the ground flat, and you just
Yeah, I've had that kind of fall. It's rough.
as you guys are sort of following over in that direction, you have to duck around a couple of buildings because you can't go in a straight line. And you eventually, Prudence, when you're near enough, you're able to occasionally sort of flick your consciousness into Deer and get a general sense of the direction she's in, so you're able to kind of triangulate based on that. Because familiars are cool, yo. Pact of the Chain gives better familiars, but this is fine too. You get to where you believe that the top of this trapdoor or ladder or whatever should be, and she looks up and she says, well, there's a door up there. And you get to the point where you're pretty much directly above her. There's nothing there. You look through her eyes, you look up, and doing some quick math, because you're a smart person, smarty pants, you realize the ladder doesn't extend upward all the way to the surface. The trapdoor is about 20 feet up. The ladder's only 20 feet up. So wherever this trapdoor is, it's into a room below the ground.
Oh my.
And you're basically standing directly above her, and there's like a crate that you push out of the way, and it's just empty dirt. There's nothing there.
Are we still above ground?
You're all above ground. She's underground.
Okay.
Bryn says, it's an underground vault of some sort. A wizard's lair? We must investigate.
Yes, that is quite alarming. Yeah, especially if Shigun has no memory of it, and it's likely not in the plans of any of the builders.
Oh yeah, no.
Do I reckon I can fit through this tunnel?
Oh yeah, easy.
Easy? Okay.
Easy. It wouldn't even be a squeeze for you.
Isn't the tunnel all the way at the bottom of the pit?
It is at the bottom of the pit, though, so you do have to get
I'm
to the
going
bottom of the
to...
pit first.
No, I am going to cast Spider Climb on myself and just go to the tunnel.
Okay.
What happened to wanting nothing to do with the pit?
That's my thought.
Well, now I'm interested. Now it's like less like, oh, dangerous underground creatures, and now it's like, oh, there's a secret base.
Now he's engaged. Okay, so you spider climb down the wall and you scale down. You hit the point where you can smell the Hydra now. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Why?
As you hit this, just it's like you know how gas kind of settles, and if you look closely enough, you can see like there's a line where the fuel is, and then air is above it, and there's a gas leak.
Rurik, I thought you were going to take care of that.
I'm gonna use my inspiration because
okay.
So it's the hazy maze.
This because Spider Climb is a concentration spell.
Spider Climb's concentration. You may not necessarily be breaking concentration here, but
13.
13. It's rough.
You rolled it in the main room.
You fortunately, how long does Spider Climb last?
Up to an hour.
Up to an hour, yeah. You don't lose concentration, but you do have to spend some time just like with one hand stuck to the wall, just coughing and hacking. You can feel like tears running down your face as this sort of acrid...
Running up, I'm upside down.
Oh, you're upside down? Okay, yeah, running up along your forehead as this just like disgusting acrid smell suddenly assaults you. And you are able to climb down, but it takes you a little bit longer than you would have hoped because you're now also struggling with this smell. But you do eventually hit the bottom of the pit, and you can see now that the side of the Hydra has been sliced open. Some of its guts are just out on the floor.
I assume there's a tunnel somewhere. I'm gonna go into that.
Okay, yeah. As a gnome, you have dark vision, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you. How tall are you? You're like 3 foot something.
What did I write down?
Shorter than me.
3'2", so it's a bit of a crouch.
Yeah, so you're like you're ducking just a little bit. Like you basically only have to like cock your head to the side and you fit. Not good for your neck though, so don't do that. But you do, and you follow the path that Deer took. There reaches a point where the air, it doesn't clear up, but it gets musty instead of disgusting.
This must be how visitors to the village feel.
Oh God.
To like the gnome village, because like, oh, it's just a little bit too short.
It's just too short.
And so they're like just bumping up on the ceiling.
And eventually you do see Deer kind of sitting and pacing back and forth at the bottom of the stairs, and she looks up and she says, "Well, nice of you to join me."
I was curious.
Looks up the ladder. Yeah, I bet you would be, wouldn't you?
Meanwhile, for the rest of us,
Can you climb this, or should I carry you?
we should probably
She
affix a
flexes
rope
one of her wings
while
and she says,
descend
"I think I'm
and
fine."
reascend as an
My
assist.
apologies.
This takes place over maybe a 5 to 10 minute time period. Are you guys doing anything else at this point? Okay, so you use your rope and pitons. If anyone has pitons,
Pitons.
it's climbing gear. Pitons, except it's spelled with an I. Pitons.
Is there anything nearby that we can affix rope to it to secure it for descending and
I mean, there are guards standing around who could hold the rope.
Guards, we don't need those.
I mean, they're sort of keeping an eye on you, but they know who you are, so they're letting you do whatever you do. But yeah, there's a number of guards that you can just hand one end of the rope to.
Fine. I'll handle this.
Will
Would you be a dear and not let us fall? Here. I toss the rope.
He kind of, well, let's see if you just toss the coil of rope.
No, I toss the end of rope to him.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, yeah, he does manage to snatch it out of the air, and he calls over another one of the guards, and the two of them sort of brace as they send the rope down to the bottom of the pit. Of note, if it's 50 feet of hempen rope, it stops about 5 feet from the bottom, because they need space to hold the rope. Yeah, that's just the standard length for rope. So.
Okay.
But I mean that's short enough that you won't suffer fall damage or anything. It's just a bit of
Are
a
you two-
pain.
Are you two ready? Excellent. And I jump.
With the rope.
Yes.
oh no.
Okay. Make an acrobatics check, because here's the thing about hempen rope. It's
Mhm.
not flexible. It doesn't stretch.
Mhm.
So when you hit the bottom, it's like a snap taut, and you stop very suddenly. So let's see if you dislocate your shoulder.
As Hoyd is jumping off, I am going to quickly grab the rope alongside the guards to help brace for the impact, so they're not yanked down by the force of his bottoming out after falling 50 feet.
Yeah, I'm gonna
That's a
make sure
16. I use my
Okay.
inspiration.
Okay. So, with a 16, with your arms outstretched, you feel like your muscles kind of, oh god, maybe this was a bad idea. No, I'm fine. And you let go and you drop. Oh, you're gonna feel that in the morning. But you didn't hurt yourself, so that's a plus.
Excellent.
So the rest of you climb down?
I'm not sure if I have a question. I didn't actually expect this to be happening. So I don't think Rurik would be like wearing his armor right now.
Okay.
So I'm curious how does that like affect my AC for like combat purposes should we get into combat?
So your AC becomes 10 plus your dexterity modifier,
Okay.
if you're not wearing any armor.
Yeah, that assumes you're just wearing regular clothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
unless Prudence casts mage armor on you or something.
Which I think he did, didn't?
Okay,
I would
yeah.
still have my armor on, so...
So you cast mage armor on Rurik, so it's now 12 or 13?
I
13 plus
docked
dex?
mine because I was working on stuff.
Right.
And this is a bit of a major development, and I wouldn't have gone back to put it on and come back.
Yeah, it also takes a long time for you to put that armor, so yeah, so now your AC
So basically, all I have access with me right now are my spells.
Yep, your AC is
You're
13 plus dex.
You're a wizard.
I'm a wizard? Yeah.
You're a wizard, Harry!
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up before going down.
Okay, in case you get into combat. Okay.
I don't know where this is gonna lead!
So you all crawl or squeeze in Rurik's case. It's a bit of a squeeze for you because you're broad.
Yeah. I
down
think
the
I'm also
tunnel.
taller than...
The other three of you, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw as you reach the bottom and reach the disgusting smell. Sorry, two of you. Hoyd, you're already immune. Prudence, you can choose to hold your breath. You know that it smells disgusting, so you can choose to hold your breath instead. That's fine.
You want me to roll one too? So I'm gonna head down and join.
Yes, everybody except Hoyd, who is now joining. 21, you're fine. You actually, like, you kind of, there's a little as you hit the layer, but you're fine otherwise.
I would hold my breath, but Rurik's too interested in what's going on to remember that, oh, there's a noxious cloud of nonsense down there.
Could be worse. I could be using the actual mechanics of Stinking Cloud and make you re-roll every round, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm not a jerk. Okay, 15.
Plus you'll be rolling for how long?
A while.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 15 is enough to succeed. It stings and it burns, but you manage to struggle your way through it.
Oh.
Okay. So the rest of you make your way down through the tunnel, and you reach the same ladder. There's not a lot of room, so like whoever's in front can see the ladder, and the other two can see the person in front's behind.
You may wish to activate your sunlight so you can see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
If it's dark then I'm gonna use my sunblade.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're also wearing your armor, so it is a bit of a squeeze. For you as well. So you're moving through this tunnel. You and Rurik are both... Actually, no, Rurik's fine because your armor's off, but you and Hoyd are both moving at half speed.
That's fine.
Prudence isn't wearing armor, and Zook is small enough. And Rurik is not wearing armor, so all three of you don't have issues passing through. But Hoyd and Shigun, you move at half speed down this tunnel. Prudence says, "Open the door, if you will." To Zook. "Don't die." So do you open the door, Zook? Zook, you muted.
Oh, sorry. I test the door to see if it's locked.
No, it's not locked.
Then I open it.
Okay, you push open the trapdoor, and as you do so, the door swings open, and do you just like push it open and let it go, or do you like push it up slightly? How do you go about this?
I mean, I don't want to like drop it onto the adjacent floor, so I'm just gonna push it up a little bit.
Okay, you push it up a little bit. Make a perception check.
Oh boy, I'm good at those.
You're very good at those.
My perception. 20.
20. Okay. As the
Which is below my passive, by the way.
Okay. Well, this would be an active. Your passive would not override in this case. But as the trapdoor kind of creaks open slowly, you do your best to keep it quiet, but these hinges are rusted. You look out and you see there's a very crude wooden floor, and at one side you see across the room there's this room space that's up above you. You see a small figure sort of crouched in front of a fire, and it looks up at you and and you recognize, you've seen these creatures before, you recognize a goblin as it sort of like looks up at you, startled, and bares its teeth. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Well, the first thing I want to do next session is apologize to the goblin.
Alright, so, our next session, we're actually going to be missing what our next session would be, because I will be in Seattle. So our next session is going to be on Friday. We're moving to Fridays. The 17th of September. Yes, the 17th of September. I'm also running a Monday game. They'll be upcoming this Monday, the 23rd. They start at 6 p.m. Eastern. So, as always, thank you guys for coming and watching, and thank you guys so much for coming and playing. Have a good night.